Good evening, students. Welcome to the 23rd series of RUN, Reskilling, Upskilling, and Acquiring New Skill, under the initiative of the Board of Studies Chairman, CA Dr. Rohit Ruvatia, and the Vice Chairman, CA Sanjeev Sangni. This initiative has been started up by the Board of Studies on every Tuesday and every Friday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. The topic of the series is New Age Advisory, Prospectus and Future of Article in Advisory. So we have with our speaker, CA Nishchit Shetty ji and CA Mohammad Javed, who is the moderator of this session. So, Mr. Javed, Mr. Javed is a renowned chartered accountant from the recognized university, as well as he is moderating the session for the day. So, over to you, sir.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to everyone for joining this series 23rd of Run at 100, Reskill, Upskill, and New Skill Initiative by Board of Studies Operations. I'm here. I'm today your host and host and the moderator for today's session, and it is my pleasure to introduce our man of the hour, the key speaker, CA Nishchit Shetty sir. CA Nishchit Shetty sir is the co-founder of SBM and Company, Chartered Accountants firm, and he's having offices in Malad and Baikalla. He's an internal audit expert and Joho Book certified trainer. He has 5 years plus hands-on experience for integrating the technological tools into financial activities across the industries, and he has delivered 200 plus workshops at ICAI Study Circle and at other forums. And CA Nishchit Shetty sir is also the deputy convener of Mira Road Study Circle. He's very passionate about governance, risk management, and building the robust internal audit systems across the industries. And if he's not doing the audit, if he's at home, he will be surely singing, reading, or writing. And he's a strong believer of the mantra, try till you succeed. So all of you guys, we are in the strong hands of CA Nishchit Shetty sir, who is really going to decode the true meaning of New Age Advisory. What does it mean for the budding chartered accountants? So welcome, CA Nishchit sir. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Javed sir, for that kind introduction. I'm really in honor to be delivering this session to the students out there who are learning the CA course. And and it's a very interesting topic that I've been getting. New Age Advisory and New Age, of course it is. We'll all been seeing it of late, and not as a stage of fear, but I'd really like to tell this to the audience who are watching here, that the technology is getting smarter and smarter, and there are a lot of fields where it has really been impacting. You might have seen generative AI plus the automated technologies, the robotic process automations, the tools that are coming up. Is really, people are saying that it is eating up jobs. Is it really eating up jobs? I don't know. That's not a topic of discussion today. But are we prepared for it? That's definitely one question that we would try to address today. And with that, I would like to begin. Okay. So I have a small PPT to display. Yeah, so it's shared. So the topic that I'm going to discuss today is New Age Advisory, and particularly looking at the audience, we're talking about what about if we have an articleship in advisory? Okay, so we are dealing with that question as well. Now let us see the evolution of CA profession. Now this is one age, one generation talking to another generation. I've been in practice from the past 10 years, and of course that does not define a generation, but the new people who are coming up, how should you be focused on? Where should you look forward to? And not barring the place where you are, wherever you are, technology has put everyone on equal grounds now. I'm here from Mumbai. Some of you might be from other cities. Some of you might be in other ecosystem altogether. But isn't it true that technology has been changing everything, putting everything on par? So traditionally, we used to focus. I'd say traditionally because my focus has also shifted. Traditionally, we used to focus a lot of compliance, audit, accounts. This is the three major baskets every CA can put his work on. He would only fit it into audit, accounts, compliance. But recently, even post pandemic, we can say the digital economy plus the role of a chartered accountant has come to an evolution period where even at the lowest and the lowest level, people are now becoming more and more aware of the modern techniques of practice, which is majorly revolving around business advisory, FP&A, financial planning and analysis. Some people call it as virtual CFO as a service. Of course, the sanctity and the validity of this term, I don't know. But that is also a kind of an advisory that is coming up from the chartered accountants. We are also helping companies into ERP implementation, be it a Zoho or an SAP or an Oracle for that matter, or a NetSuite that Microsoft has. We are also dealing at an era where we are advising as to how the transaction should happen internationally. Okay, I'm not talking local now. We're talking global. How is it being advised? How the advisory goes global, the transaction advisory. Then we are also consulting the startups, where we are talking to companies who are into new age business. Okay, when I say profession is evolving, the businesses are also evolving. So those startups who are driven by technology, they work on technology, be it any kind of startups like Zepto, startups like who are into restaurant service like that. So these kind of startups require chartered accountants who can understand their ecosystem as well. So where do you fit? Now you're doing articleship, you're doing internship. So where, as a student, also as a student, so you are rehearsing your CS career. Okay. Now this is a common thing I say to every student out there. Believe in yourself and have it in within you that you are already a chartered accountant, and then think from there. Okay. If you think that you're already a chartered accountant, because every chartered accountant is also a student. It's like why is it called practice? What chartered accountants, after clearing their exams, if we go into practice, the basic reason why is it called practice is we are lifelong learners. We keep on upgrading ourselves with the new and new acts, regulations that are coming, also with new and new technologies, new and new challenges that come up. Okay. So this, what you're doing right now by doing internship, by doing certain kind of readings within your modules, you are actually rehearsing the real role that you're going to play after you qualify. So let's build together. Let's build a CA Firm 2.0. Because if you are able to build that, maybe you would be able to build a CA 2.0, an upgraded professional out there. So when I say a firm 2.0, now at a firm level, okay, you can start taking notes. Not everything would come on screen, but at a firm level, I'm saying imagine a doctor. Okay, let's see at a parallel profession. Imagine a doctor. Every doctor out there, if you see, they have been evolved by their profession in such a way that they are focused on a particular skill that they might have acquired. Okay, so a doctor would always, most of them would be a specialized doctor. General practitioners are there, of course. Compared to doctors, when we see a chartered accountant, the more general practitioners, but specialized chartered accountants are not there. So what I see in the future is more and more specialization coming up. So when you are there, when you are doing internship, when you are learning, make it a point that you think for the future, think what would be your specialized skill, something that you can position yourself in the future, plus something that you would be known for in the future. You get these 2 points? Specialization should be given more priority than generalization. Now, when you compare with other professionals, like I said, doctors, you can easily see that there are specialist experts. They are placed in a place called a hospital. Now, within a hospital, there would be multiple specialized doctors who would be there, and they would provide service to a customer. They call it as their patients, correct? Now, for us, these patients could be called as clients. Now, when you speak from a hospital angle, everything, all the diseases can be cured at a hospital level. On a doctor angle, every doctor would have its own, like, kind of an um, understanding, a kind of a expertise that a doctor would have, and he would solve the problem. Similar would be a CA Firm 2.0, especially the government wanting a lot of CA firms to be Big 10 out there. So the competition would increase. Every CA firm would evolve themselves to a place where they would need specialist experts. So the first point that I want to take you all to take away is specialization should be given more priority than generalization. Second point, okay? When we talk about CA Firm 2.0, the firm of the future, one thing is definitely sure. Technology evolving. Earlier, technology used to come and stay for 10 years and then people would adapt to it. Now it is even more faster. The rate of adaptation is so fast that if a technology comes 1 year, 1 month is just 1 month old, people are starting adopting it. Okay. So a technology stack is something that every student must have. Build a technological stack that you know best. Okay. I'm not focusing on any one product, but some products, some stack of products you should be very clear with. Some accounting softwares, again, like we said, Tally is one of it, QuickBooks could be one of it, Zoho could be one of it, SAP could be one of it, Oracle should be one of it. As a student, you should develop capabilities within these technological stacks. How do you manage practice? Even within your firm, you can suggest that managing your, so talk to your principal and suggest him, how do we better manage the practice? Okay. So that would also be a contribution, a technological stack that you could develop while doing your articleship. While you're on client, suggest better controls, how your client can imbibe technology within their organization and build better controls for their organization. That could also be a good idea, isn't it? Suggest automation to your clients. Okay. Now, I'm also presuming that I'm talking to a lot of students who are out there who are techno savvy. Okay. So if you're techno savvy, start using it in your day-to-day life. Third thing, CA Firm 2.0 will not only evolve from the first point, that is a lot of specialized experts they will have, it will also revolve on the second point that I discussed on the technological aspect. Third point that I would like to put on plate is the team building or the cultural point. Now, culture is also evolving. Earlier, people would think studying as an expense. Now it's an investment. You have to invest into upskilling, upgrading yourself. So that firm of the future would also have a lot of emphasis on the team building, that is upgrading their team into more and more of these things that we just discussed. Second, it would also work on the team culture. It would want more and more progressive leaders out there. Okay. So when you're in the articleship or when you're a student, make sure that you are thinking about what should be the culture of the future. Now, one thing is for very sure, India as a place, the country that we are in, has always been driven by people. Okay. And all of us who are here with the audience, ask your clients, ask your principal in your firm, would know that a process driven ecosystem would build better organizations, isn't it? All of would agree. Therefore, building processes should be something that you are very keen upon. Then, if you have good defined processes, you would be able to automate it, you would be able to build technology around it. But as you are a student, try building processes. If you're working on a client, for example, if you're auditing, okay, let's now put it into real practice. If you're auditing, build processes that eases out the audit for the other person who would come and do the audit in the second year. Build checklists in such a way. And you and I both know, even if you have worked a little, that every client is unique. So there has to be an SOP for each client, SOP of how would you do the audit? How would you do the compliance for that person? How would you enter into such an advisory for that person? Okay. So because when in these small things that you do at a daily life, you develop that advisory, okay, that we are going to talk about. Now let's talk about the fourth part of CA Firm 2.0. I think in the past, a lot of our firm which we used to manage, okay, I'm also guilty of it. We never thought about the customer experience. We never talk about how is the client's experience with us. None of the firms would have taken ratings for how was their performance. Okay, audit case, I understand. You cannot take a rating from the client. But other cases, when you're advisory, because our topic for discussion today is advisory, do you see yourself taking a feedback from the client? So I believe CA Firm 2.0 would be a lot about it. How is the client experience? Did the client like the service? Did your advice, was your advice very relevant for him? Did he make a good business decision based on your advice? So when I say CA Firm 2.0 would be some firm that takes the front step, sits with the client like a partner. So are we also upskilled to it? At an intern level, at a student level, you all should should work on certain aspects into maybe putting up good reporting dashboards for your client. Build it. Use technology for it. Use basic Excel if that suits, or you can build it on Power BI. That's something that you can learn. Now, what will this do is this will prepare, like I said, CA Firm 2.0, this will prepare a CA 2.0. Because the future that I foresee from here is being built on those grounds. Understood? You can set up automated reminders for your compliances. If your boss doesn't know, do it, advise him. Figure out how it will be done and give it to him. Because that's the mindset that you will develop. That's the generation shift I'm talking about. The fifth leg of this is the last leg of a futuristic CA firm that I'm seeing, that every CA firm will be from now onwards, is someone who can build that strong content for its clients. Now it will start sounding very strange, but you can see already, and youngsters here would already agree to it, that a lot of your understanding has now shifted from learning it from Google to learning it on maybe Reels on Instagram. Isn't it true? Mine has. I've been following all those reels, looking at those videos that are out there on YouTube, Instagram, and all those things. And I've been getting a lot of cues, a lot of understanding from there as well. I'm not saying create reels. I'm just saying create content that is engaging, that is relevant, that shifts people's action. Have you ever been to someone who just watched the reel and then started saying, "Arey, this tax advice is very good. Why don't you? No one suggested me this." It happened, isn't it? Or this particular strategy that he's talking about in a business case study that I watched on a podcast could be becoming very famous right now. So the way people are engaging with knowledge has also changed. And maybe when I say near future, this will not be very far, maybe CA firms are also also evolve in such a way that they bring out newsletters for their clients. Majority of them are already doing. Maybe they have a YouTube channel for their clients, or maybe they put out emailers to their clients about a specific update that is coming up in the market, but in a very creative way. Can you create that content? Actionable content. So these are 5 things that I see CA Firm 2.0, a new aged firm would look like, be it any firm. But then are we prepared for it? Is the biggest question. Okay. Now, how do we prepare? Okay. Now we've all understood what a CA firm would look like in future, but what should we be looking like in future or in the present? How should we be working towards it? Okay, to give you a better new age chartered accountant. Okay. So the first thing is now now you're doing compliances. Now you're actually working on a client where you're filing his returns or maybe income tax returns, because a lot of CA firms take up this as a task. When you look at compliance, now relook it as a hygiene for business. A better hygiene for a business would mean that it is well compliant with the tax laws and regulations. Plus, it is avoiding a future notice or a future liability that is coming up on the company. If your advisory can do that, okay, if your advisory can do that, then even when you are doing compliance, you are a differentiator. Okay, you are different from the other CA firms or chartered accountants or interns by saying that you're not doing this for the due date, you're not doing this for compliance sake, but you are doing this for a better hygiene of the company with respect to tax, be it GST, be it income tax, be it TDS compliances, be it ROC compliances, be it stat audit, tax audit, any kind of compliance, or a payroll compliance for that matter, any kind of compliance. You will create an expectation that you don't just file, you warn your clients in advance to reconcile proactively, and you keep your clients compliant with all the reminders that you're sending out there, with all the knowledge that you're sharing with the client. So that's the shift, the mindset shift that you should have, even when you're doing a normal work. Now, since I said that a new CA Firm 2.0 would be like a strategic partner, okay? Now, in this point, I would like to add that now articles and interns, students should focus more on creating those MIS and dashboard. Okay, and what is an MIS? MIS is a management information system. Now, understand this: the top management does not have time. Okay, now they are also moving fast. The businesses are moving fast. They need to make decisions faster. If a chartered accountant is upskilled himself in such a way that he can give the management a good management information system, a good cash flow forecasting for that matter, budget versus actuals, maybe some good financial modeling for his business. Maybe he's looking out for investors, so good financial modeling, a good investor pitch if he is able to make, maybe that would be a skill that a client would die for. Mergers and acquisition is a big thing that would come up in future. And how can you prepare for it? Basically help out the whatever clients you have in thinking for their business. So even though you're not working on that particular project, but if you are able to build a small MIS for him, maybe a snapshot of his P&L compared to last year's or compared to previous month, with where is it not working out for him, which ratios are not working out for your client. When you start thinking like this, you will develop this capability of being a strategic financial partner for your client. Correct? And that would build a CA 2.0. The main thing that you're here, that I'm trying to portray here is that tell your client what the numbers mean rather than just giving him the numbers. Okay? You have to story tell the numbers for your client. The third aspect here is how do you become a CA 2.0 technology? Okay. Now here you participate more and more as an intern or as a student. You participate more and more into setting up a good accounting system, at least an accounting system for that matter. participate in how the debits and credits are taken factor by the softwares that they are using. Can there be an approval system within the softwares that they are using? Can you build a workflow? What's a workflow? That it's basically an automation within a software that allows a software, whenever there is a trigger, there should be an action. That kind of an automation. For example, if you create an invoice, an email should go directly to the client. If you see, while you audit also, if you see that your client is not built up for that automation feature, you can suggest him for that. That's not wrong. There's no wrong in suggesting a few automation, but that will definitely increase your intrigue towards understanding technology better. Okay, maybe generating a robotic process tool for passing bank entries, something like that. So that could also be an example. Generating tool for giving auto reminders to the clients, like that. So these things, when you start learning yourself, very simplistic idea that comes to my mind is also digital transformation. For example, getting every file at the client place digital. And if you're helping that, setting up that for the client, putting everything on maybe a drive, as simple as that. But that brings out the particular mindset with respect to technology that that you are trying to be a CA 2.0, to be ready for that better future that we are looking forward to. Making the finance function efficient, making the finance function paperless should be one of the objectives here. Now, one more point that I would like to add and keep on taking notes is when you look at businesses. Now, I'm also practicing into internal audit a lot. So this point is very close to my heart that I want everyone to understand. Understanding control gaps, understanding risk advisory. Okay. Now, whenever you see that there is a process within a client, try to build it standard in a standard fashion, because of course, that's not how a company or a bigger business should work. So standardizing the process. Second, understanding where there should be a gap, there would be a gap. Okay. This particularly means that understanding revenue leakages within your client. Because whenever there is a gap between processes, there could be a loss that the company could bear. Whenever you catch hold of a loss, whenever you give them an advice that is generating savings for them, better tax planning for them, they will start valuing you. And you're one step closer to becoming CA 2.0. Suggest them do a mystery audit for that example. Okay. And a lot of your clients would not know that a surprise check or a mystery check on maybe. So if you're vouching the cash, for example, if you go on a surprise visit, rather than suggesting your client for doing a surprise visit to check the petty cash or to check the stocks, the inventory for that matter, or to count the fixed assets without informing the client, would mean that you're now banging upon the thought that you do not want them to be prepared well before and you want to catch a flaw out there. They'll really like it when you do audit in that way. Okay. So all these kinds of risk, figuring out the risks that there could be on the client premise will help you become CF 2.0. Because now you're telling the client what can go wrong before it actually goes wrong. So you're fulfilling that expectations from the client. Understood? Now, the fifth part of it, since I've also spoken about CA Firm 2.0 being across borders, helping clients and organizations from various countries for that matter. So now what you can also prepare, even if it does not come into your curriculum, okay? Now think outside the book for that matter. Even if it does not come into your curriculum, try to learn about what happens in other countries. Go cross borders. Check what would a tax look like in a different state or a different country. You can see how an entity is structured in other different country. I'll give you a good example. People say Singapore may tax is very less. Have you ever read about it? Maybe that could be a good thing to know. They say corporate tax has been implemented in Dubai or in UAE. Do you know something about it? Maybe that could be a good, intriguing question for you. And, and that's where I'm saying that the new age advisory would come up. So, international structuring of organizations, understanding the relationship between holding subsidiary companies, understanding the FEMA, the overseas direct investment, the FDI norms, or the RBI norms in and around this subject would be a good homework to do for all the articles, for all the interns out there, because this is where the new age is heading towards. We are more and more becoming global than local, and more advisory ones. See, you also have to be ready for the futuristic firm, which would be exporting a lot of CA related services outside India. So you should be prepared for it. Correct? A lot of opportunities are opening up. The institute, for that matter, has been in talks with a lot of institutes outside India, and they sign agreements, they sign MOUs with them for us to work in those countries. But are we prepared? If the ICI signs a memorandum of understanding with the Institute of Australia, for that matter, are you also prepared? Do you intend to go there? Or do you intend to open up a practice that can take outsourcing services from outside? Or if you are hired in a CA firm, or if you're working with an MNC, are you prepared to know the international standards, international tax impacts? So that could be a good idea to build a new age advisory, is to know something about it. And more you come across those clients, of course, you will evolve, you'll understand more, and you'll be prepared for it. Now, a lot of businesses are also acquired out there. Advisory business, when I say business advisory, is not only about business advisory between cross borders, but also about a lot of business related mergers and acquisition that would come up. Because businesses are evolving, they're now understanding the concept of, see, a lot of these things that are going out on media, on television also makes an impact. So a lot of these shows that are coming up, like Shark Tank and all, people are now understanding that they should sell their business, they should bring on board investors, okay, and they should grow their business to a certain way. Now, if business owners are understanding that they need to grow their business in certain way, do they get the right professional in the market who can help them grow their business in the right way? Of course, compliance being there. I'm not ignoring compliance to the whole. But what I'm trying to make a point here is, are there professionals in the market who can help business expand, particularly in expansion, if I say? Okay, so new age advisory would be more about these talks, more about how do we merge, how do we acquire a company, how do we expand in a new market, be it any state within India or even internationally. Therefore, we discussed international advisory as well here. Okay, small and medium enterprises would definitely go for mergers acquisition. They could go for tax planning based on different regions. Now, very important to build a CA 2.0. Okay, now we're trying to build a CA 2.0 together here. Very important point is, how do we upskill our teams according to it? Okay. Now here, why do I come to sessions like this? I'm a practicing chartered. I'm very busy with the daily day-to-day work affairs. Why do I come up and start talking to you? The answer to it is because I constantly think it in this way, and hear me out very loud, okay? If I am able to explain a concept to someone, I know it better. I'll repeat that statement for you. If I'm able to explain a concept to someone, I know it better. So take this away with you. Howsoever YouTube videos you watch, howsoever you may read, if you're not able to explain it to the other person who is out there, I think there's some doubt that will always stay in your mind as to you know it or not. Especially in this age, a lot of students out there, I know for the matter of fact, because I have my interns who are working with me and I see them struggling, that you are now listening to a lot of online lectures. Even this session that we are having here, you're listening it online. Now, so the dopamine of your brain, now I'm almost speaking for 35 minutes now. It is easy for you to catch hold of some concept for maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And that's the fact. Okay. For some people, it would be only 30 seconds because that's what you're seeing constantly scrolling. Correct. So your attention span is becoming less and less day by day. Does that mean that you will not be able to cope up with the attention? No, that does not mean like that at all. But you will have to evolve. You will have to train your brain in such a way that you are now able to understand better. Correct? Now let's build it. Now, if I say, look at it in this way, that you take a content that can be explained in 1 hour's time. Like this concept that I'm trying to explain you, maybe some speakers would take a 4 hour session for it. Now, because I understand it well, I am giving you out those points that you can listen only for an hour. So here, every one of us should build a capability that you can also train others. Even though you're a student, I'm saying you become a trainer in your office. Build a training module for your other people in your office so that they can refer that maybe in a 30-second time and quickly build onto it. Start doing that. Start building those content around in and across your office. Train them in such a way that you do not have to be dependent on them. You have those resources or materials available within your office, and you can work with those materials and resources, and you do not have to rely on other person. So that is also necessary. If you are able to do that, you are this CA 2.0. Okay. I'm more or less done with building a CA 2.0. But here, when I talk about CA 2.0, I want to make it very clear that at certain services, maybe you'll not be able to deliver it. Okay. Like, for example, if you're going for a stat audit or a tax audit for that matter, maybe at a tax audit level, you will not be able to build all these advisory. When your employer or when your principal is specifically engaged to a service with a client where he is giving advice, you can, of course, leverage these techniques that we just discussed while we are discussing CA 2.0 on those places. At certain places, when you're doing certain kind of work, maybe we are doing audit, stat audit, or a tax audit, you will not be able to give up those advices. There's a small catch here. Even when you look at statutory audit, you can see the Schedule 3 balance sheet gives out certain ratios. At least discuss those, because those ratios ask for certain explanations from the client. When you look at certain business angle from the client, think of maybe an accounting standard that is applicable to you. So CA 2.0 would not only be following a checklist, but would also bring up advisory while doing audits. Okay? Because if you miss that, maybe another year when you start doing the same audit, the same problem, the same query may come up. What is the use? Every year you're just giving out queries, they are solving, but their accounting system aren't evolved to catch that queries beforehand. So you make your life also easier when you're doing stat audit, tax audit, specifically talking about stat audit, tax audit, which is not a futuristic advisory that we are discussing. Now let's summarize everything so that we take away certain notes as well. What's a new age advisor? A new age advisor is someone who is making decisions based on data. So a lot of your work is evolved around financial data. So while I said that you should be capable enough to create those dashboards, create those analysis, always focus on data-based decision making. Technological advisory, help your client adopt a good technology. Okay, so that is also will build a new age advisor. Third, financial strategy, help them restructure their business, help them in their growth, give them insights about their business that can help build better growth for your client. Fourth could be you could also focus on niche areas because new age advisory is on these areas like an ESG that is coming up, AI in finance. How do you involve um, artificial intelligence, cross-border structuring? So these are niche areas that you can develop a new age advisory on. Particularly when I'm talking, I know that I'm talking to uh, articles, I'm talking to students out there. So you should also have a vision. Okay. Like I said, articleship is your rehearsal to being a better chartered accountant. So when you are rehearsing for it, you should have a vision. Start working more and more on client consulting assignments. Okay. A lot of interns that I see from my angle, I'm saying, they resist going out for advisory because they on the back of the mind they're thinking that maybe I don't know enough. But believe me, when you enter into that zone and try advising from a point zero blank, sit with your principal and start advising, you are building yourself to be the futuristic advisor that we are talking about. Get yourself exposed to a lot of tools, a lot of Excel automation. Go beyond just pivot tables or a VLOOKUP. There are complex formulas that you can learn, and you have to build it. Okay, when you have some extra time in your office or while you are advising, there are certain periods in the year where we don't have that much work. Start building, start getting yourself exposed to certain tools. Maybe your principal uh, would not know certain tools. You can start telling him about those tools. Show him. From an intern level, we also expect that we get some learning from the interns as well. So it can be the other way around also. Assist, always try to assist while someone is building an SOP. Maybe your principal is building an SOP, you can assist them there. Internal control reviews, whenever there is an RCM prepared, whenever there is a final uh, project deliverable that has to be made, usually the CAs take charge of it and start discussing with the client. You participate, you go with them. Okay, participate in these work. Try building your communication skills and presentation skills also. Okay, a lot of the work that we get, I'm giving you good insight. A lot of work that we get is also built upon our confidence level. It's also built upon how we are able to present it. Look at it in this way that in a formal wear, I'd say a tie would cost more than the shirt. That's because the presentation matters to the other's eye. Okay, howsoever sound you may be technically, but the way you present it would always increase your value. And if you are able to increase your value to a certain extent, you'd be able to better charge for it, correct? So build your communication and presentation skills. Therefore, whenever you are an article, try to have a conversation with your principal and tell him that you want to deliver a session, maybe on a new topic that has come up within your office ecosystem or to your client also. That would help you to actively engage not only with the newer things that are coming up in market, but also making you a better speaker, making you a better presenter. So master technology, improve your soft skills. Start reading beyond your curriculum. Not everything, institute cannot build everything on paper, cannot be put into your books. Sometimes because your books are built 2-3 months back or maybe a year back, the current situation that you are in may not be covered in that book. So you have to read beyond curriculum, go read those case studies that are out there, read the newsletters out there, the new technology. Okay. Also try to create dashboards, process notes while you do any kind of work. So yeah, more or less, this is what I had for today. Uh, I'm open for question answers now, if there are any.
Thank you, sir. It was a very wonderful session, and we do have some queries. Some of the queries I do have received in the text box, and before taking those queries, I do have some queries in my mind also, since
Sure.
it is relevant to the topic itself. So we are discussing about the new age advisory. I just want to ask you, sir, how an article trainee start building the advisory skill from day one, since when most of the work is kind of routine in most of the chartered accountant firms. So how can he kickstart the advisory skill to build the advisory skill from day one?
Hmm. So, see, first thing is maybe your principal would not be so free, we can say, because he's also busy to actually give you an ecosystem that can build that. So that's the first challenge we have, because even after I close this session, we'll close our laptops and quickly be working on the day-to-day affairs. Okay.
Okay.
If you want to be ready for advisory, the first thing that you can do is start taking up the new amendments that are coming out there and start delivering it within your office. Okay. That's the most basic thing, because that's the most easiest thing also to do, because nor your principal will stop you from doing that, nor the other people will resist, because everyone in your office would be interested to know what is new that is coming up. Okay, start building that. That's the most easiest thing. Second thing is, whenever you work on a client, like I said, start automating the processes. Okay, because when you jot it down on paper, you realize slowly and gradually you're having that attitude towards advisory. Advisory is what? You're thinking from the other person's shoes, wanting the business to flourish. Okay, the new age advisory, if I talk about. So when you want your clients to flourish, first is that you should have some data driven analysis on it. So start analyzing your client's data. Okay, start giving out certain insights at your level. You could start by saying, okay, can we reduce this particular expense for the client? A revenue, a rupee saved is a rupee earned. So your client
Yes,
will
yes,
appreciate that.
exactly.
Can we build a planning, a tax planning in such a way that we avoid paying extra tax? For example, the client is not paying the advance tax properly. So you can think from that angle. How can I save? How can I build an MIS in such a way that his advance tax is taken care? Then you give him an analysis. Also, you can talk to your principal by saying, sir, this was done in this way before, and now after I have done it, we've saved so much interest for my client. That's also you building an advisory service.
Okay,
Right
it is
now, you may not
from
look
the
it.
student side. It should be the first step from the student side itself,
Yes.
because many offices might not be offering what the new age advisory is. So student will have to take the step.
There,
One common question is there, sir. Should big four firms be considered as a good opportunity for articleship with a view of leaving our city opportunities?
a very common and a very big question. I'm not from Big Four,
Me too,
and I
sir.
do not want to be biased about the view. So
Okay.
I'll give you both the viewpoints. Um, Being into a Big Four, of course, adds a brand value to your name.
Okay.
It's a hard fact, but it is true. It adds brand value to your resume as well. And imagine you saying, hello there, I'm a 10-year-old chartered accountant. I have been working with Deloitte for the last 10 years. Of course, adds brand value to it. Does that mean that only Big Four adds value to your life? Is it a life value? Maybe, maybe not. Okay. A smaller firm would have challenges that are ground rooted, challenges that are highly practical at a very grassroots level. So when you work for a smaller firm, maybe your understanding has been developed from that level. In a bigger firm, maybe for 6 months, maybe you're given a very small task in a very huge company where you're not able to understand it in a holistic manner. In a small firm, you'd be given a smaller client, you'd be starting from understanding a business from a holistic manner. So that's also value even not called a brand value, but that's also a value. As a student, what do you want? As a student, you want exposure. You want all those things in a packet so that you can pick and choose what your specialization would be in future. So it's a bargain between a good brand value, maybe a good defined process, maybe a good technology that you can see in a big four firm versus a good, maybe a bad practice that you've improved in a smaller firm, maybe a good number of businesses that you've seen across various industries.
Yes,
Maybe
exactly.
shifting there in a bigger firm would not be so easy, but here you can shift from income tax to TDS to GST, or maybe from this industry to that industry. The client size is small. Okay, so I will not conclude it by saying go for this or go for that. I concluded saying by saying understand this, understand that, choose yourself. Okay, nothing is wrong or right in this
So it
situation.
is a kind of master of all, jack of none in the smaller firms, and it is a kind of master of one thing, one particular thing in big fours, in a nutshell.
And also a choice as a student that you want to make. A lot of your choices can be from what you think about yourself in the future. If a student is thinking that in the future I want to look at this industry, okay, if
Yes.
he's very clear with it. So as a student, that is also good. If a student is saying, since I'm a student, I want to see everything and then decide, that is also true.
Okay. So it depends on the student to student. What is his or her priorities? He can take decision accordingly.
Yes.
Okay. One more query is there, sir. How to improve by ourselves on automation where small firms are not able to update on timely? So it is kind of related to automation, since you have discussed about the Excel automations, and I would request you to discuss something about more than the macros. Since Selenium is there, Python can be integrated. I don't know if it fits to the students for as of now, but if it is okay, then you can discuss something about the Excel automation beyond macros.
Correct. So I have in my PPT also I've included certain tools that we can learn out there for free, because most of these tools that are out there in the market also have a free version available with it. Okay. So now, like I said, technology is kind of a mindset right now, because you really cannot see it hampering your work. As of now, you cannot see. Okay. We've not heard news that because of AI, CA firms have started
Yes.
uh, this, but it is definitely happening in other industry. Now I'm giving you another insight. I just see something that you can see in future, um, rather than resisting to it. Okay, we should not resist to it. We should make it happen faster. So as a student, learn it right now. So you can just go to a demo account, start creating it. Just look at where the
Yes. Yes.
features are, what they are. Even though your daily life, I understand. Now you're giving me a case where you're saying that in my firm, I'm not getting time to do it. Okay. Now I'm saying within this case, if you get a half an hour, just try to explore these tools. Just have a look and feel of it. Okay. When you have a look and feel, if you feel that it is relevant to a client, suggest him that. Say that I've gone through so and so software, which is a good payroll software. It helps a lot of automation features inbuilt in it. For example, it calculates tax automatically, okay, and sends a salary skip to the employees, and also has updates on professional tax, labor tax out there. So if you've figured out this beautiful tool out there on the internet, give it to your client, tell it, oh, sir, try this. Maybe I can help you implement it. So if you're not capable of implementing, maybe you could just participate in the implementation process.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can talk to your boss as well within your firm. If you feel that maybe a practice automation tool, that's also a tool, also has a lot of automations. If you've just explored on the internet, you can tell your boss about it.
Yes.
Start talking to him, tell him that I can help you in this. So as a student, he will always like, people always like such people who are good implementers of technology. There's no resistance to it. The resistance is at a user level, not at a boss level. So at the top management level, everyone will like it. And if
Either,
as a user you are participating, or if you are suggesting, nothing like it. I'm saying don't stop. Even if you're at a smaller firm, even if you don't see any opportunity while you're working, bring that opportunity to the table. Why should it be on in the future? It should be in the present. So your approach bringing future in the present would definitely prepare you for the future, because wherever you go, you can do that. You can start doing it. And believe me, new age chartered accountants are also a lot about technology now.
Yes, yes. Either way, I just want to add two things into the automation. First thing, if the students want to learn automation by themselves, so the first thing they need to do is follow some YouTube accounts. There are a lot of tech accounts which offers the step by step guidance from the beginners. So you can start following those accounts, start watching those videos, and first you should be a master of Excel. What I personally feel, a chartered accountant or a student of a chartered accountancy should be master of Excel, because entire data set is in Excel only. Every day we spend around 6 hours out of our 8 hours of practice on the Excel itself. So first you will have to be master of Excel, and Excel is so vast. You even after pivot table, you go to macros, then Selenium is there, then Python is there. These are all robotic process automation softwares. And if you want to learn these softwares, if you want to learn this automation, you need to follow the YouTube channels or the Insta channel, whatever channels you want, and you start vibe coding. Nowadays, we chartered accountant do not need to code. AI is there, artificial intelligence is there, who can code for us. We need to give the idea only. So there is a term called vibe coding. I request every one of you to go and check what is vibe coding. VIBE space coding. Vibe coding is a new concept in AI that allows us to give the idea to AI, and AI will code for us. So the automation can be learned by yourself also. AI is there, and a lot of YouTube channels and other tech channels are there, so you can learn. So last query from my side also, since I do not see any more further queries in the chat box. Looking ahead 5 years down the line, which emerging risk areas like environmental, social, or cybersecurity or AI governance, which governance area will have the greatest demand for advisory specialists?
So I think all of things that you said have equal role in the future, in the coming future. The environment, ESG audit, ESG reporting also
Yes.
seems to be gaining a good traction. Right now, it's only applicable to the top companies. It would definitely come down, because also environmentally, we are becoming more and more aware. Even AI at a level of automation and AI, definitely whatever you said is true. Mergers and acquisition is another field. Maybe restructuring, buying out. A lot of companies will be bought out in the future. So all these places, uh, decisions like rent versus buy, decisions like opening a company in another country, all these kind of areas will evolve and become better and better in future. So you should be prepared for it. And
Okay.
also, to summarize what you said in the previous part was also true. Earlier, we used to say that we are sum total of our 5 friends that we follow. Now the things have changed. Now we are sum total of 5 or 6 accounts that we follow on Instagram or maybe YouTube. So it's more because you're soaking yourself with technology so constantly. When you get up, the first thing is that you look at is your mobile. Before you sleep, the first thing that you look at is your mobile. While you're working, while throughout the day, you're constantly looking at your mobile. Now you decide, when you are already habituated to it, at looking at your mobile or looking at screen, what do you want on screen to be available to you? So that's a brilliant thing that you've also added to the session. Make available to yourself all those accounts that you want to be like in the future. So start following those accounts that are upskilling you.
So this digital transformation can be taken in two ways. You can be nervous of this digital transformation, or you can get the opportunity. You can feel this is an opportunity, and you can do better for your future also, from this digital transformation. This DX is going to be the game changer. This is evolving faster than ever, sir.
Correct. And everyone will talk about with their experience, because I have a set of experience. I will say, okay, 10 tools are very important.
Yes.
Your clients, with your case study, with your use case, you would have another set of tools that may be very relevant for you. So start figuring it out. Figure out what could be good for you, your client, the things that you are working upon.
Okay, okay. So I guess all the queries have been resolved. It was a very wonderful session. You have a lot of expertise, and we we on the basis on behalf of Board of Studies, I would like to thank you, sir. You have done a great job. Most of the students must be benefited from your insights, and it was a tangible takeaway for all the students. Whatever you have discussed in a very calm and composed manner, it was like very easy and very smooth session, sir. So thank you very much. On the behalf of Board of Studies Operations, I would like to thank CA Nishchit Sethi sir for this wonderful session, President CA Chandrajit Singh Nanda sir, and Vice President CA Prasanna Kumar D sir for their continued guidance. I would like to thank Chairman CA Dr. Rohit Rovatia sir and Vice Chairman CA Sanjeev Sanghi sir for organizing these kind of events for the students, for the benefits of the students. And I would also like to thank the Board of Studies Operations team and the technical team for this seamless coordination in Zoom over and as well as the YouTube itself. And last but not the least, I would like to thank each participant who has invested 1 hour for the upskill, reskill, and new skill initiative and making their future technologically savvy. Thank you very much. This was a wonderful session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the wonderful session. Thank you, our speakers. Thank you for the moderators. Both the session conducted the session very well. On the behalf of studies, I urge all the students to stay connected with us, tune with us on every Tuesday and every Friday for 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. To apprise to the sir, the 9 Power BI, Python, the MS Dynamics that had already been introduced in the advanced ITT curriculum that will be imparted to all the students during the practical training as well as during the advanced ITT training, which has been conducted
great.
At our 165 centers. So all the students take the maximum benefit out of it and stay tuned with the Board of Studies operation on this run series. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much for having me.
Thank you.